It seems so long ago, but how well I remember. We knew it as the Great War, the war to end all wars. And I was there, just another American soldier back in 1917.
Over there, send the word over there, that the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums drum-tumming everywhere.
So
Say a prayer, and send the word, we'll be coming over there, we'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't be back till it's over there. Hurry right away, no delay, go today.
Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad.
Tell your sweetheart not to blind, to be glad her boy's in line. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't be back till it's over there.
Over there.
Order! Halt! About face! Forward! Halt! Left, right, left. Detail, halt! About face! Parade, rest!
That's a bully song. Always has been. It takes me back to a time long ago when I was just a young businessman making my way in the world. But I knew when the guns of war began blazing in Europe that sooner or later America would have to go over there. So in 1915, I helped organize a citizens' military training camp in upstate New York, a little place called Plattsburgh, just in case we had to step up. Now, why did we do this? Well, to answer that, I'd have to tell you a little bit about my father and some of his friends, like Major General Leonard Wood and other prominent figures. My father and his friends believed that America had a responsibility to promote justice, freedom, and democracy at home and around the world. They believed in the morality of strength, and that all Americans have a responsibility as citizens. Now, young men like myself, and women too, wanted to make my father and his friends proud and glad. My father was Theodore Roosevelt, Rough Rider, Colonel, 26th President of the United States. You may have heard of him. He's that rather fierce-looking, bespectacled gentleman on Mount Rushmore, positioned just a little behind some of our other great presidents. Now, it's not like him to be so retiring. But my father had a lot of respect for his predecessors, those who led this nation through its first century. He also believed in performance above prestige, and he raised me and my siblings to believe the same. My father led from the front, and he taught us to do the same. Sometimes to do that, you have to think a little bigger than life, bigger than Mount Rushmore. You have to love and embrace the strenuous life. He was a pretty tough act to follow, especially when you share the same name as him. But I did what he taught us all to do, to carve out a place in history, to put performance above prestige, to be responsible and always do what's best for the good of the whole country, not just for yourself. I did my best to live up to his expectations. I guess I could have done a lot worse.
Mademoiselle from Armentières. Mademoiselle from Armentières. Mademoiselle from Armentières. She hasn't been kissed for 40 years.
Yeah, I went over there. So did all of my brothers. The youngest, Quentin, he went over there and never made it back. He was shot down in France just 4 months before the armistice that ended the war. I saw my share of it over there. Battle of Cantigny with the 1st Division. Got gassed in Soissons. Took a bullet in the leg. Had a nasty limp forever after that. But nothing was worse than waiting for supplies that never came. I got tired of it and paid for new combat boots for all of my men out of my own pocket. That's just one of the times over there when I realized that America needed someone over here fighting for a well-equipped military. Like everyone else, I was mighty glad when it ended. We won the war, but I lost what was left of my youth in those years. I lost my brother, and soon after the war, I lost my father. But I never lost the spirit he put in my heart. And the unflinching pride and patriotism among all of us doughboys who answered the call, that was permanent. No matter whether you were a drafted private from the woods and hollers or an officer with the degrees from Harvard, we shared the common bond of military service.
Life is a book that we study. Some of its leaves bring us sight. There it was written by body that we must march, you and I. Nights are long since you went away. I think about you all through the day. My body, nobody quite so true. Miss your voice, the touch of your hand. Just long to know that you understand. My body, your body misses you.
Now I know I don't have to teach you the meaning of the common bond. That unbreakable tie that unites us as veterans for our entire lives. In war and in peace, we know the meaning of the bond. And comradeship in the service is only one step away from citizenship in the community. After the war, we thought, wouldn't it be grand if we could get our comrades together to keep serving as civilians, to maintain the values that held us together in the darkest hours. Together we could work to prevent another war, or to prepare ourselves and others if it should happen again. Together we could fight in Washington to ensure that veterans and their families were treated fairly by the government that sent them off to fight. Together we could do our best to ensure a square deal for America's youth and children, no matter their circumstances. Now, to get this idea moving, we didn't have a moment to waste. The men and women still stuck in France would be returning home very soon. So, with the support of General Pershing, we held our first organizational meetings just a few months after the armistice. We met in January, we met in February, and then, wouldn't you know it, I got orders to ship out just before the big one, the Paris Caucus in March of 1919. Now, me being there didn't really matter, because the American Legion was never meant to be about any one person. We made one rule early: check your rank at the door. It didn't matter where you went to school or if you went at all. Black or white, rich or poor, male or female. We all shared the common bond. And that was the beginning of our American Legion. That was 99 years ago, and we've been going strong ever since, staying true to the founding principles of our Constitution's preamble. For God and country, we associate ourselves for the following purposes: to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, to maintain law and order, to foster and perpetuate a 100% Americanism, to preserve the memories and incidents of our association in the Great Wars, to inculcate a sense of individual obligation to the community, state, and nation, to combat the autocracy of both the classes and the masses, to make right the master of might, to promote peace and goodwill on earth, to safeguard and transmit to posterity the principles of justice, freedom, and democracy, to consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. This, my friends, is what we were when we began, and this is what we have remained for 99 years.
This is my country, land of my birth. This is my country, grandest on earth. I pledge thee my allegiance, America the bold. For this is my country, to have and to hold.
In May that first year, we had our St. Louis caucus to iron out our Constitution, pick a convention city, and to make our name official: the American Legion. The first 8 months, we signed up over 685,000 new Legionnaires. Our first national convention was held right here in Minneapolis. Veterans from across the country poured in to take on issues we learned from the war: a better funded and trained military, compassionate care for our wounded comrades, American patriotism, and support for our young people, our future. Now, it seemed to us back then that priorities like these would remain important for years to come. And you know, we were right. They are still just as important today, maybe even more. Now, in 1921, the American Legion helped create the U.S. Veterans Bureau. That evolved into the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs 9 years later. From day one, we began what would become a perpetual crusade to ensure adequate medical care for our wounded and disabled comrades, even when their wounds were invisible to the eye. We gave America its original flag code. We got jobs for hundreds of thousands of unemployed veterans. We came to the rescue when floods, tornadoes, and fires left towns in ruins and families with nothing to eat. The true heart and soul of the American Legion, its source of its strength and longevity, quickly became the local post. It was there at home that all of our programs and resolutions originated, where all of the Legion's successes are born. From support for the Boy Scouts of America to the leadership of American Legion Baseball, the local post has always answered the call. In 1935, American Legion Boys State got started in Illinois, and a few years later came Boys Nation. Oh, these were no ordinary summer camps. They were all about good citizenship, responsibility, and the obligation we share to participate in a system built on justice, freedom, and democracy. Soon we started National High School Oratorical Contest, not only to teach our young people good speaking, but to show them where their right to speak freely came from in the first place. Across the nation, we consecrate and sanctify our comradeship by our mutual devotion, by our devotion to mutual helpfulness. This simple phrase means many things, and it has led to a century of success. From the world-changing impact of the GI Bill to the individual family that gets an American Legion grant to rebuild their lives after a hurricane, that kind of success doesn't happen without a belief that performance matters more than prestige, and that through the common bond of military service, no matter where or when you serve, almost anything is possible.
Ballin'!
This is the Army, Mr. Jones. No private rooms or telephones. You had your breakfast in bed before, but you won't have it there anymore. This is the Army, Mr. Green. We like the barracks nice and clean. You had a housemaid to clean your floor, but she won't help you out anymore.
In 1941, I re-entered the Army. I must admit I was no spring chicken, but I was fairly certain I could still ruffle a few feathers. 8 months later came Pearl Harbor. The American Legion's argument for preparedness, which to some people was just militarism, suddenly made a whole lot of sense. I saw action in North Africa and Italy, and I was finally able to persuade the top brass to let me join in the first wave on D-Day. When we came ashore on Utah Beach, I knew Hitler's Germany didn't stand a chance against us. This time, we came prepared.
You're in the Army now, you're not behind the plow. You'll never get rich by digging a ditch. You're in the Army now, but she won't help you out. You'll have to do without. She won't help you out anymore.
What a country this has been and is. This land of ours. A place where men and women still swear to give their last full measure of devotion for an idea. The idea of America. And belief in the American veteran. Our nation's greatest legislative accomplishment, the GI Bill of Rights, was born in the minds of legionnaires, American veterans, not politicians or bureaucrats. And no one could have imagined the impact that it would have on the world. It changed the way our nation treated disabled veterans. It sent millions to college. Hundreds of thousands of businesses were capitalized. Tens of millions of homes were financed. And in time to come, this nation would not need to draft a single soldier for more than 45 years and counting, because the GI Bill was incentive enough to give this nation an all-volunteer force. That is a legacy that the American Legion can always be proud of, and a mission that is sure to continue for generations yet to serve. It was right here in Minneapolis, my friends, where our great organization began, where a vision was inspired by a desire to make America strong, both in times of war and times of peace, for the good of all. That vision built the American Legion, first century legacy. Today, a new vision is coming into focus, led by a new generation of veterans, including, I'm delighted to say, my very own grandson, Theodore Roosevelt IV.
Onward with eyes are gleaming, onward with eyes are gleaming, and freedom's banner streaming forward march our country's name.
Son, it's good to see you.
Great. They'll keep the glory waving on legacy and preserve democracy. Sons of glory, sons of glory, hail the heroes, hail. Staunch and steady, always ready for our cause. The American Legion's call, hear the call, hear the call.
We in this room do not forget those who served and those who waited for their return home. Those few who knew valor and those many who knew fear. Those who survived battle and those who did not. We remember. It is the duty that war places on all of us to hold sacred the sacrifices made by our parents, friends, sons, and daughters. All of you in this room know, yes, our veterans fought for country and for honor, but mostly in the field, they fought for one another. Theodore Roosevelt Jr. came home from World War I battlefields, and he remembered well his brothers in arms. He could not place a period on his service in that war, a period that might leave the men who returned home without comfort and aid. He knew that their service demanded more of all of us. It demanded that we remember our veterans and their families with concrete action. Concrete action that does not falter, that does not waver, that is not subject to the whims of politics, that belongs to neither party and to no ambition other than memory and duty. And that I am very proud to say, is heart and soul the American Legion, now entering its second tour of duty, its second 100 years. Across our country, there are American Legion posts and volunteers, your neighbors and mine, coming together to meet the needs of this community. Where there are still local newspapers, there are stories. Post 64 sends 4 local residents to State Trooper Training Program, Salisbury to host American Legion Baseball State Championship. American Legion hosts sock drive for combat troops. We are intimately woven into the fabric of this nation through rural and urban landscapes, wherever our veterans are found, and we come together for larger enterprises as well. The American Legion has given us the VA healthcare system, youth programs to teach and inspire future leaders, recognition and treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder, and illnesses caused by Agent Orange, a massive support network for needy families and children. Most importantly, we give ourselves this, our association, our comradeship, our devotion to one another. This is the practice of democracy, the free association of the like-minded to advance a shared cause. And there are few causes as great as ours. Please join me in a salute to the World War I doughboys and doughgirls who came home from war and remembered their comrades in arms. They remembered them so well that they have shielded, comforted, and lifted up more generations than they ever knew. We are the children whom many of these soldiers never met. We are their legacy. Let's honor that together.